Welcome to the Proud American Patriot Podcast. I'm your host, Chad. What are we going to talk about today? What's on everyone's mind? Well, today we've got another edition of the Patriot Report, where I praise our fellow patriots and damn the tyrants and turncoats. It's been a little while, and I apologize. Between family coming into town for a month, the holidays, COVID number 4. Yeah, I know it's supposed to kill everyone, but this is number 4, and I'm still here kicking and screaming. And then a bunch of snow and freezing weather that we got around town. It's been a while since I've been able to get in the studio. So I just wanted to make sure I'm not off base here. So I did invite Mike from the Just Us Thinking podcast to join me for this one. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Feeling better. It's getting a little bit warmer. We actually had a heat spell come through earlier this week. It got up to 24 degrees.
Now, you said COVID. Now, yeah. We didn't get it from each other.
No.
But we both got COVID at the same time.
Yeah, exact same time. In fact, Rebecca let me know that you had COVID, and I thought, you know what? I'm feeling kind of crappy. I should probably test myself. And, they say it takes 15 minutes for the result to come in, and less than 10 minutes, and looked like someone took a big old black Sharpie and drew a line on that "you have COVID" section.
Yep.
So, it's been a while since I've been able to go over here in the studio and record one of these, and since then we've had a lot of tyrants come out. It's been kind of rough on the tyrant front, where they're getting pulled out. I'm not even going to get into some of them, like Hunter Biden and his deciding to blow off his subpoena to Congress and go over to Senate and kind of give them the middle finger. Apparently he's gonna go testify in a closed session again, which good. I hope all those dirty, dark secrets come out. I have a feeling they won't, but I hope all those secrets come out. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else. He's the smartest guy in the room. I have a feeling at some point he's going to slip up somewhere. What do you think?
I agree. Here's the thing. You always want to be the smartest guy in the room, but you never want everybody to know you're the smartest guy in the room.
And he's not even the smartest guy in the room.
No. Generally, the guy that goes around the room telling everybody that he's the smartest guy in the room is probably the room idiot.
Yeah. To me personally, I think Hunter's kind of in a neck and neck race with Corky from the Wonder Years. So I
think Corky's winning.
He might be. He very well might be.
I like Corky a lot better than Hunter.
Yeah. At least you didn't have to worry about Corky doing stuff that you wouldn't expect someone to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Corky had an excuse. What's Hunter's?
I like Corky.
Yeah, I do too.
Corky, you're a good guy.
Ooh-ba-da, life goes on. No, oh no, baby, life goes on. That was my favorite part about Corky. He pulls out some Beatles.
Yeah, love some Corky.
So let's get the official list kicked off here with. I know he's one of your favorite people in the world, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Oh,
I feel it's only fitting since we both had COVID again. But where do we start with this clown? Because he's a complete ass, and it came out that the whole 6-foot social distancing thing, there's no science behind it. They just made that shit up.
Yeah, didn't he just come out and say, yeah, that was they made it up?
Yeah, he did. I think it was in his book that he came out and said, well, really there's no science behind that. We just needed to come up with something. So he said, well, everyone stay 6 feet away from each other.
Pulling shit out of your ass.
Yeah, exactly. As well, with him, it's more that big ass nose on his face. But,
now, how many people got into fights because of that 6-foot rule?
Oh, I know. There was a time back in 2020 where every time you heard a story, there was a fight here because someone was standing too close and 6 feet. And we had the grocery stores where each aisle was one way and.
The signs on the floor. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Remember that guy wearing the hula hoops that.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, there's this guy that wore this whole apparatus that kept everybody at 6 feet away from him. It was ridiculous. People wearing bubble suits.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get in my car by myself and put on my mask. Now here's a great one for you. Going back to the whole, because he was also, you got to wear a mask, even though it was proved that those masks did absolutely nothing.
Well, and now you got the pictures after the fact where they were taking, they were talking, and then they're showing the video now after the fact, where as soon as they were done talking and saying, oh, you got to wear a mask, those cameras went off, and off came the masks.
Yeah, And, they came out and acted all righteous and, you got to wear masks. And some were wearing 2 masks even, 3 masks even.
Oh, yeah.
Soon as the public broadcasting cameras went off that they were airing out to the world, and you had people with their phones that were still recording, you saw them take those masks off right away. But, the craziest buy-in to the whole thing that I saw was in my neighborhood in the summer of 2020. Saw a guy on a motorcycle, and he must have lived somewhere in the neighborhood because this is back when we still had the helmet law, riding down the street, no helmet on, shorts and flip-flops, which those last 2 are big no-nos if you're riding.
Yeah.
But he was wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah.
So
my favorite were the people riding around in the cars by themselves, no one in there wearing a mask.
Yeah, going to protect themselves from their own COVID.
And it was almost as bad as seeing the one person in the car wearing a mask and the other one not.
Yeah.
You guys, generally you're the same household, so you're just going to contaminate. But yeah, I remember watching that broadcast. I watched someone took a video of it. Cameras went off, masks came out. Then they started shaking hands and like interacting and mingling. Yeah. What the hell were you guys just saying?
And they still talk about this, and this a little bit different subject. We'll come back to Fauci here in a second because there's one other thing that really pissed me off about him that I want to talk about. But they just had that big summit that they had in Danos or wherever it is, where all the rich to-do people that think way too highly of themselves, people like John Kerry. Here's a quick fuck you to John Kerry. Fly their private jets over there, and they have this big sermon on how they're going to save all of us.
Yeah.
Now these are the people that are all still concerned about COVID and all these other viruses. Did you see the ceremony that they had?
No, I didn't even watch it.
I just saw a clip of it because it happened to be on the news. So they had this blessing ceremony where this crazy wackadoo lady came up to each of them and touched their forehead and then coughed in their face.
What?
Yeah. Now, these are people that are concerned about, COVID's going to get you. It's going to kill you still. But yeah, they had her come over and she rubbed on their forehead, said a little something, then gave them a quick right in their face.
What the hell?
So yeah, it's I guess we don't believe in practicing what we preach on that side. So
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was borderline disgusting. If it wasn't so funny, it would have been disgusting because it's just the irony of it.
Yeah.
But back to the thing that really, really pissed me off about Fauci. The other thing that came out about him recently is he is claiming that the year plus that all of our children were out of school and doing learning from home had no impact on their learning.
No.
Now you've got Mikey that's in school. I've got my girls that are in school. I'm sure you saw the same type of difference than I did. They were behind.
Yeah. Not only that, but there's also the social dynamic that goes along with that, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the social interaction of being in a group of people.
Right.
Yeah, it's
you got to learn to interact with kids and other people.
Right.
And you can't do that. It's different through a computer.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. So, for all this, for Tyrant Fauci, I've got 2 words for you, and I'm sure you can guess what they are. Fuck you.
I agree with that one.
So yeah, he's pretty high up there on my shit list right now, and he's been up there since I don't know March 2020 when he started opening up his mouth and thought that he was going to do what's best for all of us when really all he was concerned about with getting out there in front of the camera, grandstanding, and working on ways to line his pockets. So he's a piss poor excuse for a human being in my eyes.
And my biggest problem with him is he now wrote a book for doing what?
Nothing. Getting overpaid.
Right. That kind of pisses me off.
Yeah,
he gets some book deal for doing nothing and just guessing on bullshit. Well, no, sorry.
But you know
I'm
what?
not going to read it.
You know what? Michelle Obama got a book deal for pretty much the same thing.
No, she was screwing Barack.
Well,
that's a lot.
That's important. You got to tell him what to say.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. You want to go pork with Obama? Let's leave her. Let her do that task.
Yeah,
that's a job that nobody else wants.
Well, was she on top or on bottom? That's my question.
Well, that's a whole nother argument there, isn't it?
Or I guess as the left would say, was he on top or on bottom?
Yeah,
because there's a little bit of a bulge there.
Just a little bit.
So, next we're not going to highlight one person on this. It's going to be the entire damn Biden administration. Not one of them, not a particular person, all of them. They still continue to claim that the border is secure. In December, we had a record number of, I think it was 320,000 illegal immigrants cross our southern border.
Right.
But it's secure. It's secure. They know what's happening there.
Well, I think it's better today. Didn't the Texas government kick the feds out and secure it?
Yeah, leave it to Texas to tell the government, fuck you, we're going to do it ourselves.
Not the first time.
No,
probably won't be the last time.
No, I'm sure it won't. But, here's the thing is they keep claiming it's secure until you get the mayors and governors from these left-wing cities and states that also claim to be sanctuary cities and states saying, well, something has to be done. We can't cover the cost of these illegal immigrants. They're putting too much of a strain on our system.
Well, then you need to call out. Then I expect on your list here of calling people out the mayor of New York, right?
Mayor of New York, mayor of Chicago. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
They both say, oh, we're sanctuary cities until they have to be a sanctuary city and actually take these people in.
And then they complained and bitched and moaned. Oh, I can't do this. It's hurting our economy. What do you think it's doing to Texas, you dumbass?
Yeah, and these are little towns in Texas that are a minute fraction of the size of places like New York City and Chicago.
Yeah, at least New York City has the funds to do something about it.
Well,
Podunk, Texas does not.
Well, no, the problem is New York City doesn't have the funds to do anything about it because they already blew their load on all the other liberal agendas that they had. So,
right, yeah, that's true.
But here's the thing. These governors start talking out, and then all of a sudden it's, well, maybe we need to do something. And in fact, Biden slipped up. I don't know if you saw this, but Biden slipped up and was asked by a reporter if the border is secure, and he said no.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he slipped out. I don't think that was supposed to come out as a no.
Well, and I think he was walking away when that happened, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't, because he went on to say that for the last 10 years, he's been asking Congress for all sorts of things, for judges and, the things to help secure the border. Well, let's look at that, because for 4 of the last 10 years, he was a private citizen.
Yeah.
So he really wasn't doing anything other than that, except for, getting lost on his daily walk, falling off a bicycle, tripping upstairs, practicing for his job he has now.
Right.
So, but yeah, he's doing this and saying he's been fighting for the border. No, you're not fighting for a secure border. Day one, you repealed everything that Trump did to secure that border.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying Trump's a saint. I'm not saying he's even the person that I would support out of the 3 real candidates that are left. But the one thing I'll give him credit for is when he was president, we had the most secure border that I can remember.
So what kind of pisses me off about the deal is, as soon as Biden got in office, he repealed all that bullshit for the wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then 2 years later, started implementing the same goddamn thing.
Yeah. We need to add to the wall.
Why did you repeal it and stop it if you were just going to do it again? That's like digging a hole, going, I didn't like this hole, filling it up and then digging it again.
Right.
You're not doing anything. You're a dumbass.
It's because they needed a bigger government. They need to waste the money. They need to find ways to say, oh, well, we need to tax you more. We need to take this money that you worked hard for so that we can, waste it. Because the thing about big government is the bigger the government, the more waste there is.
Right. And the more it costs for a goddamn hammer or this or that.
Yep.
And the more rich, I will tell you, and the richer they get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because, this money's going into their friend's pocket and they're getting a kickback for it.
Right. That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they want to say, no, that doesn't happen. But unless you're living under a rock, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. I know. There's no reason that Hunter Biden is selling paintings that he did for upwards of $500,000 a piece.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. In fact...
is he that good of an artist?
No. In fact, they had... Over the weekend, I saw a show where they were talking about that, and they had someone who is an art connoisseur / critic that evaluates art for people.
Right.
And they said at most his painting should have gone for $2,000, maybe $3,000 for 1 or 2 of them.
That much, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even expect that.
Now, sometimes you're paying more for the name, but I don't think Hunter Biden's name covers a big price tag.
I really can't see that as a prize. Oh my God.
But talking about Hunter Biden, they also announced that we'll get back to him just because he seems to be a good target this last couple weeks.
Yeah.
His holster for the gun that was thrown in the trash that he's facing charges on had cocaine residue in it. Big surprise there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that.
I bet he's trying to get that back out of evidence because he might be able to scrape out part of a line on that.
Yeah, he might. Well, just go to White House security. They still have a couple baggies of his, right?
Oh, no, those were destroyed.
Oh, bullshit.
They did their investigation. They destroyed them.
Bullshit.
No, that I believe they destroyed. They destroyed those because then if it's destroyed, you can't do anything to trace it back to Hunter.
Yeah, that shit got lost. And
got lost up someone's nose.
Okay. Daddy bought him another bag.
Yep. So, for this, President Biden and your entire administration, you are all tyrants. You are enemies of the American people. Then another thing that came out here recently, and this one wasn't as published. I saw it a couple of times, read a couple articles about it, but not really pushed anywhere. The IRS and the FBI, two upstanding organizations in our government. They're just the cream of the crop when it comes to being honest, forthright, and truthful.
Oh, yeah.
The two of them and Bank of America all got together and went through Bank of America's records of our fellow Americans looking for anything that might have a conservative link. And this is going back to this happened in the run-up to the 2020 election. And then from there in through January 6th, because, we all know that the Democrats told the complete truth and nothing but the truth about January 6th. So,
yeah.
But they were looking for anything that might have a conservative leak, anything that had MAGA attached to it or anything from Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. So, this is what we've come down to. Banks and government agencies going through purchases of the American public looking for something they can use as political ammunition.
Which is why I don't want to go to digital currency, because I don't want the government to be saying, we don't need this guy to buy this, so they could just shut me off.
Right. Yeah, that's where it's going to go to is we don't like you and what you're doing. We'll just push this button and now you're cut out.
Yeah, that's
you
what
have
happens.
Nothing.
That's what happens when you go to a digital currency.
But so apparently what we've come to is being able to pick out your political enemies and find a way to silence them. Because, it's free speech. What's that? It's only free if you agree with what I want you to agree with. That's
right.
The left's viewpoint is, if you're not agreeing with them, then you don't deserve free speech.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny when you talk to one of them and when even if you're sarcastic with them, when you're sarcastic and you say, hey, and then you say something that's obviously way off base, if they think you're agreeing with them, they're nice as day and all that until it clicks, and you can see it click sometimes, and they just go all ape shit on it.
Oh yeah, very rarely can you see it click because I don't think most of them get it.
You could see a lot of it click sometimes. You can see it click because I've seen it click, and that's when they either walk away or they start throwing their fit.
Yeah. Well, that's when it becomes you're a racist, you're a misogynist, because they have that's how you beat the left, is they pull out the personal insults and start attacking you personally.
Yep.
But, it's the left in doing this, they apparently think that we should be the tyrannical states of America. So, for all of you in the FBI that were part of this, the IRS that are part of this, and everyone at Bank of America, I will never do business with your bank, ever. I don't care if you're the last bank in the world. I will go to the barter system. But for all of you, I've got a big old fuck you. So we do have some patriots that I want to kind of shout out to. And again, this isn't just one or two people, but this is all of you wonderful people in Iowa who went out to caucus in freezing, snowy, nasty conditions, meet up in a gym somewhere, the basement of a church. And for those of you that don't know, in Iowa, when they caucus, it's not like other states where you go, you cast your ballot, and you leave. You go there, you sit down, people get up and talk and try and convince you why their candidate is where you should vote. And then you vote, and if someone doesn't have a certain amount, you start the process all over again. So you can be there for hours because you're not allowed to leave until it's done.
It's a completely different system than anywhere else.
Yeah,
so.
well, there are a couple other states that have caucuses as well. They're just not as talked about because Iowa's always the first in the nation.
Right.
But in fact, I think Nevada might have a caucus in some areas.
New Hampshire, I believe, does too.
No, New Hampshire is a ballot.
New Hampshire is just a ballot? Okay.
Yeah, because, that's the other thing is Biden's not on the New Hampshire ballot. They just decided they're going to award New Hampshire to Biden because, that's democracy at its finest.
Wait, he's just on the ballot? He's just there?
Yeah, no, they're not doing a Democratic ballot for president. There's
Why?
a spot for write-in because they just decided they're going to anoint Biden as the candidate that wins New Hampshire.
Regardless of it. And what if the state doesn't want that?
Well, too bad. They've decided that. It's because the Biden administration wants South Carolina to be the first primary for the Democrats, and New Hampshire says, no, we have to have our primary at such and such a time. So the DNC decided, well, you can still have your primary. We just won't have anyone on the ticket for the Democratic side because it's going to be Biden anyway. We'll just anoint him without having a vote because that's democracy at its finest right there.
All right. All hail King Biden.
Yeah. It's and they talk about, Trump wanting to be a dictator and a tyrant ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the people of Iowa. Much respect for you. You're my neighboring state. I know what type of conditions you had there. And for as many of you who did to go out in those conditions and exercise your rights and do your civic duty, my hat goes off to you. You are true patriots.
You have nobody else to thank or no one else to highlight?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I can think of one off the top of your head. Who's the new speaker?
Johnson?
Yeah. Why? What about him?
I flip a coin on him. Some days I like what he's doing and saying. Other days I'm like, that's not going to fly with me. So
yeah, but he released all the footage for that January 6th incident.
He did. That was a little while ago. But, he also just here recently helped push through a temporary spending bill, which he swore up and down he wasn't going to do.
Well, I think unfortunately, he got pressured into that, and that's unfortunate. But watching some of that footage for the 6th, they're all peaceful.
Yeah. They were walking through fist-bumping Capitol security.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah, I showed a couple other people that video of the fist bumping. They had him in handcuffs. They took off the handcuffs, and they're fist bumping. Say, no, you're cool. You're cool. And
no. This isn't taking them out of handcuffs. This is them walking through the halls, and there's a line of Capitol security, and as they're walking past each of them, they're fist bumping them.
Yep. There was that. There was also one guy they actually handcuffed one person, and then when they took him out of handcuffs, they fist bumped him. Now, here's also I was showing my other half some of the congressional fighting on there, and it's now starting to come out that the FBI had people dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol building before the incident.
Do you think I'm surprised?
No.
I've been saying for a while that it smells of a conspiracy theory, and that conspiracy theory has more truth to it than non-truth.
Yeah. There were whited out buses full of FBI agents that they had planted in there right before the start of the steal. Well, I forgot what they was actually calling it. Was a Stop the Steal event is what they were actually calling it.
Yeah, something like that.
But they had them inside.
Yeah, well, that just speaks to the honesty and integrity of our FBI.
Yeah.
The top law enforcement division in the country, and they're doing shit like this.
Well, my biggest problem with this that I have is they shot a female there, an unarmed girl that was a veteran. She was a person that supported our military that I think got caught into something that I don't think she was prepared for. And 5 of the people that have been arrested for that event have committed suicide.
Yeah, they Epstein themselves.
Yep.
But
now I don't know if I don't know if they did or not, but that is something that's a little bit scary.
Yeah. Well, my other big question about the whole January 6th incident and everything leading up to it is, where are the pipe bombs? There were these two pipe bombs that were supposed to blow up the DNC, and 4 years later or 3 years later, they still haven't found them.
Nope.
It's again, something smells a little bit fishy.
Yeah. And the fact that they were on site, that dressed as Trump supporters, that they could if they were going to use that to their advantage and not storm the maybe talk people in the front saying no, let's not go in. Well, that's okay. I have a feeling it was just the opposite. It almost looked at watching some of the footage. It almost looked like they were waiting for them all to get in, because as soon as they were all in and they had it, police officers were taking their phones, taking pictures with them, taking pictures of them, and then all of a sudden they show up in riot gear, and then just all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. That seems a little bit weird.
And I do find it rather interesting that pretty much everyone they've arrested in the whole January 6th incident, those who are still alive, have pretty much been kept in solitary.
Yeah. For how many years?
Yeah, which one would constitute cruel and unusual punishment.
Yep.
2, right to a speedy trial.
Right.
3, why are they keeping them in solitary? Now,
Well,
I'm going to go out on a limb here. It's a theory that I came up with. I'm not trying to sell it on anyone. I don't even know how much I buy into it. But knowing our government, I could see this being true. I've almost got a feeling that those people don't actually exist.
Well,
it was all for show.
You and you and I've talked about this before.
We have.
Here's the thing. We all saw a bunch of people get arrested, right?
Right.
They all got taken away. What if those were the FBI agents and they wanted to be a show, and as soon as they got up, they just released the FBI agents and said, thanks for making us look really good.
Yeah, and you think about it, how easy would it be to say, oh, we arrested Joe Smith, and he's being charged with A, B, and C, and he's in solitary confinement.
Well,
now, how hard is it going to be to dig up and actually find out where Joe Smith is? Because all they have to do is say, yep, he's in this prison, in this cell, in solitary.
Yep. And that's what I think that's almost what scares me more here is they could have made up aliases for all these FBI agents, arrested them, and as far as we're concerned, they're still in jail, and the government did a great job.
Yeah,
but there's no one in there. That's a fake person, and the FBI staged the whole crap.
Oh yeah,
that's scary,
and it wouldn't be difficult. It's random name generator. Okay, here's your name, and here's where you're from. Okay, here's your name, here's where you're from.
We did it all the time. Do you know how many aliases I've had?
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I've got a couple of them floating around out there.
I mean,
don't use them anymore for anything, but
mine were government given.
Yeah, so it's crazy how easy it is for, especially with someone like the government, who there is no oversight for most of the government. I don't care who says that, oh, well, there's this oversight and that oversight. There isn't.
No.
They can hide whatever they want from whoever they want.
Right.
So, and all they have to do is say either, oh, that's classified, or they destroy it and it never happened.
Yep. So, and don't get me wrong, I still think there's a few people in there that got caught up, and they may still be holding a few people.
Yeah, there's one I know of, and for the life of me, I don't remember his name, but he was, I want to say it was Charlie Kirk, did an interview with him because he got a laptop, and he had to pay like $3 a minute to do anything online with the laptop.
Really? Jeez.
And so he did a video interview with I think it was Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
And yeah, he's been sitting in prison, missing, his family and everything else that for the last 3 years. But yeah, so I'm sure there are a few of them out there that are
how many
actually legitimate people, but I don't know. I think the government could have cooked up a whole lot there.
So how many constitutional violations are they doing to that guy?
Well,
Fourth Amendment,
yeah, for the right to a speedy trial.
Right. First Amendment, right to protest.
Yeah. And freedom of speech.
And freedom of speech, yep.
Let's see here. There's the Supreme Court ruled on amount of time that you can have someone in solitary confinement.
Yep, that's true.
And he's far exceeded that. I'm sure that if you really looked into it, his rights have been violated so much more than we could even imagine. They're turning into a gulag state.
Oh yeah, no better than Russia.
No. Only difference between us and Russia is we don't take you out to Siberia and put a bullet in the back of your head.
Well, I don't know where they're taking them, but it's not Siberia, but it might be somewhere else.
Yeah, it could be.
We make it look. We pretend we're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Russia just does it. We try to say, oh, we're going to be. We bullshit each other.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I absolutely 100% love this country. To me, it is the best country on God's green earth.
Right,
but
I just don't like the people
problems.
running it.
We've got some problems. It's there are people out there that are trying to tear this country apart and gut it from the inside out.
It's the only way to destroy this country.
Yeah, it is. And it's been said that's how this country is going to fall, is by getting it to fight itself.
Right. And I hate to say it, but they are working very well at it. So
yeah, they are there. But I think we're going to wrap things up here. We're probably about half an hour or so, and didn't want to have this one running real long like our normal shows do when I have you. But thank you for joining me on the Proud American Patriot podcast, Mike. And thank you, everyone, for giving me a listen. If you like what you heard, please give me a like, thumbs up, heart, whatever it is on the platform that you're listening to. That's it for me today, and I am out of here.